I got a call about, I don't know, 3 months ago from our manager, Charlie, and over the years, he said, you know, this orchestra is, you know, called us about maybe doing an orchestra show. But this call was different because he said this is a youth orchestra from Cleveland, and they're supposed to be really good. And I was like, you know, why don't we check it out?
Liza Grossman, who is the conductor and director and the founder, which I didn't realize until a couple of days ago, of the Contemporary Youth Orchestra and Chorus here in the Cleveland area. She's done these with a few other individual artists like Graham Nash and Ray Manzarek and John Anderson of Yes, Pat Benatar and Neil Giraldo. She just somehow fixated on wanting to do Styx and called our manager directly. And she said to me, normally there's layers of bureaucracy that you have to get through to actually talk to the actual management guy. But for some reason, our manager, Charlie Brusco, happened to just pick up the phone that day. And he said yes immediately.
I want you to do what feels good. I'd rather you give me 200% tonight. I founded the orchestra in 1995 after I met Dr. Bernard Rands, who is a composition professor at Harvard. And I did some work with him on new music, and he suggested that I start a youth orchestra because he said that he thought that I had a natural ability to hear and teach contemporary music.
There's an element of rock, in progressive rock, they're much more open about showing some of their classical influences. So many of us grew up studying classical music and using that as a foundation to become songwriters. I don't think it's true for everyone in the band, but I know JY studied classical music. Todd, our drummer, went to Berkeley. I have a degree in classical piano from the Royal Conservatory, so I was well versed in that, and I've done a number of shows with orchestras over the years. But I see there's a nice cross-pollination of musical styles between Styx music and classical music. If you listen to, you know, Pink Floyd, or you listen to Beatle records where they used orchestras, or even the Rolling Stones, there really is a way of doing it where the classical influences can actually flourish and become even larger when you have the actual players there. And that's really what's happening tonight. That and the youthful exuberance of having young players that are very, very you know, hungry to do something on stage that's meaningful.
We got started on this thing, but it's been a joyful thing for us. Because rock and roll at its core is really about youthful enthusiasm. It's about youthful rebellion in a sense as well. But the enthusiasm that young people bring to music is so refreshing and so energizing for us. The looks on their faces are just, I mean, we've got these tricks we've been using for 30 years and they've never seen it before. So all the old tricks are good here.
I didn't really realize how I would feel when we first got together with the kids. But we had a sort of a test run in rehearsal in sort of a big band room. And as I'm standing there kind of watching and listening, Chuck was playing bass, and we didn't have a guitar for me at that time. So I just kind of placed myself in with the orchestra, and I was watching, and I was just getting off. I was tripping on how I felt at that age when I used to lock myself in my bedroom and my parents would say, what's wrong with this kid? You know, all he does is want to play is the guitar. And I could see that enthusiasm on every kid in that room, and they were so into what they were doing. And anytime somebody was taking a solo or whatever the instrument was, it was like right in here, man. It was every ounce. They were so excited to be there. And I'm really looking forward to this show this evening because you cannot predict what that kind of enthusiasm and energy, how that will culminate. And I think the people that are here tonight are going to see something really special.
It's a great thing for me to see, because I mean this music affected me when I was their age and younger, and to see the power of this music still having that effect on kids today is really incredible.
There's this gigantic smile. They're playing their instruments, and they'll watch Todd at the end of a song just beating his brains on that drum, you know, and that excitement that I got, that charge that I got, they're getting. And during Renegade, I walked right over to the bass section because I wanted them to know that even though I'm 30 feet away from you, we're still a band together. So with these in-ear monitors, I could walk right over there and be part of them. I wanted to let them know, you know, that I am one of them, and that's what we're here to perform as a collective. It's very exciting.
From the first time I started rehearsing with the CYO, I realized that their exuberance and their enthusiasm for the music supersedes whether they've been seasoned players for many, many years. And quite often, I have to say, with orchestras, you can get half of them that are intensely into it and another half that are kind of going through the motions because they don't connect with rock music. That's not the case here. Every single person on that stage, and there's a lot of them, they're playing as if they have something at stake, and they really are trying to they're really part of the band tonight is what's happening, and that's why I think it's going to work as well as it is.
Yeah, I think the marriage here between symphonic music and Styx, as far as arrangements go and the kind of instrumentation, it's all implied anyway in the rock arrangements. So you put actual strings, horns, woodwinds, and then this wonderful youth choir. It's a marriage just made in heaven. It's an absolute. I had no idea what to expect. You can imagine all you want, but when you hear it and you hear the timpanis coming in at it's huge, and it becomes emotional.
Their music is already so naturally symphonic, has very long melodic lines, thick chordal structure, and very easily orchestrated.
I think the audience are going to be surprised at just how well this cross-pollinates a symphonic show with a rock show. So often I find them to be kind of, they're a little bit dull usually when they bring an orchestra into it. Sonically it's beautiful, but it doesn't have the same guts as a rock performance. I think you're going to see tonight that can be overcome because of their enthusiasm and the way that they're attacking the music rather than just passively kind of going through the motions of it. And because of that, we feel that we can perform as we always do, which is on 10.
Well, I expect a wonderful gig. I expect these young people to come back with experience that they will remember for the rest of their lives. This will be the highlight of our tour 2006.
Imagine a room full of kids already, that energy that they have, then give them a world premiere to play, and it just doubles because they're the first to do something. And that gives them ownership of their art.
This concert, I think, you know, there's an electricity sitting here with no one in the room knowing what's going to happen here tonight. You know, there's kids standing in the background looking over here at me, and while I'm being interviewed, and I know they're sensing it. I think this is, you know, there's a sense of doing something for the first time, which always maybe some butterflies on some people's parts, and if I pause long enough to think about it, I might even have some. But it's truly just, I don't know. There's just an unbridled optimism about that this is going to be a fantastic night. The kids' parents will be out there, but there's going to be many diehard Styx fans out there as well. And looking forward to a great concert in a great setting on a lovely day here in May in the great state of Ohio.
At the same time, I want to just enjoy the whole thing because this is going to be one of those nights we'll never forget.
We've done enough talking about it, now it's time to do it.